Welcome. What's going on, HBCU family? It is Tuesday, October 29th, and you are locked into another episode of In the Quad with Nick Eden. I'm your host, Nick Eden, and we are back with another packed show. All right, y'all. The shenanigans, they don't stop. They don't stop. And but we got a great show today, so I'm really excited about it. And for those who are just tuning in for the first time, I saw yesterday we had quite a few first time watchers. So for those of you who are brand new, In the Quad is a show that talks about all of the HBCU trending topics across the entire HBCU landscape. That's TikTok, Fizz, and maybe TikTok won't be around after next year, but TikTok, Fizz, Facebook, Twitter/X, Snapchat, uh, all the places, right? So we're going to take all of those trending topics and we condense them down into four main topics. Now, that's the first part of the show. The second part of the show is my absolute favorite, and that is our fam topics. This is the part where you, the viewer, submit your questions or comments to me. And if you want to get your topics read on fam topics, it's really simple. Head right over here to my socials at Nick Eden on Twitter/X, at Nick Eden on Instagram. Click the link tree in the bio and submit your questions. If it is appropriate, I will read it. If not, I will leave you on red like girls be leaving dudes at the club when they text them finally. This just happened to a friend of mine the other day. So I'm sorry, man. I had to call you out about it. She left you on red, dog. You should have known. You should be glad she gave you her actual number. But that's beside the point. Real quick, y'all, we're going to get right into it. Because like I said, we got a packed show today. Some great stuff. But there's also some stuff I need to call out. And y'all know I'm pretty good at that. All right. So let's get into our first main topic. And our first main topic, my goodness, this was the big announcement that everybody was thinking they were going to say they were going D1. But nonetheless, fooled you. All right, this comes to us from NBA.com. Morehouse College and Tuskegee play in the 2025 HBCU Classic. The SIAC matchup on February 15th at Oakland Arena is a part of the NBA All-Star 2025 in the San Francisco Bay Area. They announced today that Morehouse College and Tuskegee men's basketball, this was a couple of days ago, programs have been selected to compete in the 2025 HBCU Classic presented by AT&T as a part of the NBA All-Star 2025 in the San Francisco Bay Area. We're thrilled to have Morehouse College and Tuskegee University compete in the fourth NBA HBCU Classic during NBA All-Star 2025, said NBA Deputy, it's a lot of letters here, y'all, Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer Mark Tatum. We look forward to both programs showcasing their talents during the game as well as celebrating HBCU culture as a part of our All-Star festivities. The teams were selected in collaboration with the SIAC due to their rich traditions, on-court rivalry, and commitment to excellence. The 2025 NBA HBCU Classic, presented by AT&T, continues the NBA's commitment to increasing support and awareness for HBCU athletics and advancing educational, career, and economic opportunities in partnerships with HBCUs. I'll go ahead and say this real quick. First off, shout out to Tuskegee. Shout out to Morehouse. They do have a very storied rivalry. And I think it's great that they get the exposure for it. But I'm tired of exposure. I am. I'm really tired of exposure. What's going to come on top of that? What kind of opportunities? And here's the deal. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like crapping on their moment. This is big. It is. It really is big. I'm happy for both schools. My question still remains the same. What is the follow-up? What do we have in place as a follow-up to this? Because if your commitment is to, and let me make sure that I'm not tripping. All right, let's see. This continues the NBA's commitment to increasing support and awareness for HBCU athletics and advancing educational, career, and economic opportunities in partnership with HBCUs. Can we know more about that? What does that look like? Are you running MBA camps on these campuses? Are you bringing these athletes out? And are you look, what kind of partnership does Morehouse have with the Atlanta Hawks? I know there's no pro team in Alabama. Why don't you have Tuskegee and Morehouse there? Why? That's the other question. Like, well, no, it's got to be in San Francisco because that's where they're doing it. What can you have for Tuskegee and Morehouse that Tuskegee is only 2 hours from Atlanta, and Morehouse is right down the street from Phillips? So what can we do in partnership with the Hawks? What kind of resources can be there? And I know some people are like, every time something like this happens, y'all are always talking about a handout. It's not a handout. It's asking what is going to be the benefit post this game. What's going to be the benefit? Who's going to see it? Are they going to be seriously scouting these athletes? Are there resources coming in? Or are you simply attaching your name to HBCUs as if somehow it's going to make you feel good at the end? And I'm not saying that that's what the case is, but I think when we get articles and we get, all these announcements and everything like this, we never get the follow-up and we never get, what is this commitment? And I know I started off hot, y'all. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I covered up the logo a little bit, but no, we ain't covering up the logo because they are our sponsor. I get my, they advertise with the network. They advertise on my show. I get my coffee every morning from McDonald's. I'm sorry. That's inherent in me. I automatically would just start covering up logos and stuff like that. But in any event, I'm proud of Morehouse. I'm proud of Tuskegee. It pains me to say that, but I'm proud of both of them, and I'm proud that these athletes get the chance to showcase. I just want to see the follow-up, y'all. Now, that being said, when they put a little leak out saying, hey, big announcement coming from us, from Tuskegee and Morehouse, boy, the retweets. Because when I tell you, y'all asses, it's like, they're going D1. They're coming to the MEAC. Erica, love you to death. I really do. She had the gif that was like, please, like, listen. Tuskegee and Morehouse eventually are going to go D1. I know that's an aspiration. At least I know that's an aspiration for Tuskegee. Morehouse, we got to get a little bit more investment into their athletic program because there's no point in coming to a conference and becoming the bottom feeder of it. But eventually they're going to go D1. It just wasn't the announcement. And I think that, like, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I don't know that the MEAC needs to expand right now. I really don't. They got to get that system together a little bit better. And I know people are going to start talking about, oh, no, we don't want to talk about the SWAC. This is not a situation where we're talking about, this is not an and/or situation. This ain't a, well, what about the SWAC or what aboutism conversation. There are just some things that the MEAC has to get together. And that's the truth. So while I don't think that's in the cards now, I do think that eventually will be in the cards. And quite frankly, I'd love to see both of them in the MEAC. So, that's just kind of what it is. In either sense, congratulations to both Morehouse and Tuskegee. And I hope this turns out to be a fruitful partnership. I'm begging that it will turn into a fruitful partnership. All right. Speaking of the MEAC, let's get into our second main topic. Howard University. Shout out to Howard. Shout out to HU. Howard University expects to be classified as R1, making it the only HBCUs with such status. So before MEAC Mike hops in any of my mentions talking about this, let me say that is in no way a shot to any other school in the MEAC that has not reached R1 status. I just had to put that disclaimer out there real quick because he'll be there. Anyway, so this comes to us from Chronicle.com. Howard University expects to be classified as a Research 1 institution this spring, making it the only historically Black college and university with such status. a Research 1 or R1 label could significantly increase the number of research grants the university qualifies for and attract more top scholars to its staff. The coveted status could also distinguish the HBCUs focus on research that disproportionately affects the Black community, such as sickle cell disease and voter participation. For HBCUs, in the research that we do, there's a stated and higher commitment to historically disenfranchised communities, said Bruce Jones, Senior Vice President for Research at Howard. Elevating HBCUs to R1 status opens the door for them to acquire more resources to do more things in terms of meeting the community mission. Listen, absolutely fantastic. Everybody has been on a race for R1 status. Right now, I want to say there are 11 or 12 HBCUs that are R2 status. Let me just look real quick. Let me just see. Because it's going to bug me until I figure it out. Okay, so all right, so right now, Clark Atlanta, Florida A&M, Howard, Jackson State, Morgan State, North Carolina A&T, Prairie View, Southern, Tennessee State, Texas Southern, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Dell State are classified as R2 status. So for y'all who aren't familiar with this, let me say, this is a big deal. I mean, we're talking, when we talk about R1, you're talking about, now I think there's going to be another level of elitism, racism, classism, call it what you want, that they may encounter once they hit R1 status, but it is an absolute game changer. It is the research, these research grants literally fund schools for decades. They are transformative. And I think this will give Howard and any other school that's, going for R1 status, the tools that they need to, just like I said on yesterday's show, not only survive, we've been really good at surviving, but it will give them the tools that they need to thrive. And thriving is what we have got to get to the point where we are doing, because we have to get back to it. Well, not even back to, we have to get to a point where everything we need, we're financially solvent, we're ascending, right? Because we got to step it up a bit. So shout out to Howard University. Shout out to the other. In fact, let me take a look at this real quick. Hold on. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half the list. Let me just go ahead and say this real quick. Half the list of R2 institutions, SWAC. Half. Anyway, y'all, so we're going to take our first commercial break. We will be back with more of our main topics. It's in the Quad with Nick Eden.
Technology lets you monitor your pet when you're not at home. But to monitor threats to your hybrid workforce wherever they are, you need more than technology. You need CDW, who gets to know your business and can design and deploy custom solutions with pre-configured HP notebooks with HP Wolf Security. AI-enabled threat detection and remote management protect your endpoints 24/7, giving your defenses some real teeth.
Bummer.
HP makes always-on remote security possible. CDW makes it powerful.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
When I push, I feel good. When I push, I feel good. When I push. You better move. I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave, the sales guy, is like, "You're gonna love this." He shows me the best-in-class fuel economy and lets me know it's recommended by Consumer Reports. When Dave says, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000, like Rogue with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day. See you next week.
All right, y'all, welcome back to In the Quad with Nick Eden, where we are covering the hottest topics in the HBCU landscape. We are right in the middle of our main topics, and let me say this. You know, a lot of times there are, and I want to address something a little, I'm probably going to address it on tomorrow's show because I want to give it some time because it's a fam topic, but I moved it back. There are a lot of people who, in this climate today, get a little bit of a twinge when it comes to people who were not in the HBCU family, not of HBCU culture, kind of aligning themselves. I don't think that to be the right move to make. I think having support from people outside of the HBCU landscape is important. But one person that I will definitely say, I think fully embrace everything, not only about everything about HBCU culture. I almost forget that he did not attend an HBCU. And so shout out to Chad Johnson, aka Ocho Cinco, who's probably my favorite personality in media right now. Ocho Cinco is that's the dude. Shout out to him. This comes to us from HBCU Game Day. HBCU homecoming hits different for Chad Johnson. Former NFL star and larger-than-life personality Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Ocho Cinco, has always had an affinity for HBCUs. In previous episodes of Nightcap, a show he co-stars with Savannah State alumnus Shannon Sharp, Johnson stated that he was looking to get the HBCU homecoming experience. Sharp, who had playfully chided Johnson previously about being too old to go to a homecoming, noticed Johnson had on a Prairie View A&M shirt on Saturday night's episode. He got a chance to speak about his experience at PV's homecoming. I went to Prairie View's homecoming. I did the coin toss today. Big thank you to the athletic department and staff and everyone that's a part of the Prairie View family. Alumni, current students, and athletes, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable atmosphere, which is why I'm jealous of you that you had the opportunity to experience what it's like to be at an HBCU. Johnson currently has a daughter who attends Prairie View. Now, what I'm not going to do is this. I promise this time when I talk about Prairie View, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to get emotional. But it's something that all people, if you go to a PWI or a private school or anything of that nature, you need to experience a homecoming at some HBCU at a state near you. Johnson is you know what? Yeah, I'm finished reading. Johnson's a Florida native who had previously had an affiliation with Florida A&M University. He actually spent time at HBCU, Langston University, briefly before being kicked off the team. He would eventually find his way to Oregon State before going to the NFL and becoming a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Let me say something. That is, in my opinion, that is the definition of appreciating the culture and not appropriating the culture, which is something I think that we can all do. I think we do it to other cultures. A lot of times we just we relegate it to white folks doing it to black people. Black folks, we do it, and not even just the PWI HBCU thing. We do it to people on the continent. I see people, they'll have, it's the craziest thing on earth. I'll see somebody with a Nefertiti necklace and a Kente dashiki, and I'm like, bro, it's two different countries, two different cultures. Africa is just one big thing for you, right? Appreciation, not appropriation. And I think with Chad Johnson, with Ocho Cinco, here's somebody who, again, and like they point out, because I think Stephen wrote this article, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Stephen. Stephen, I gotta give you a call. I'm gonna do that today because there's something I want to talk to you about. I think that with Chad, with Ocho Cinco, he attempted, with Langston, didn't work out. He did what was best for him. Obviously, it worked out very well. And Pro Football Hall of Famer, or soon be, one of the biggest personalities in sports media and Black media right now. And he has a genuine appreciation. He has a genuine appreciation with FAMU, a genuine appreciation for Prairie View. This is what we need to see. And I know we talked about, I know it's been floating around, people wearing HBCUs, whatever the case may be. Listen, man, let me just tell y'all this. As a person who grew up in Mississippi, born in Louisiana, grew up in Mississippi, went to college in Alabama. Let me explain to you. LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn. The vast majority of people showing up to those games, the vast majority of people buying all the merch, the vast majority of people who are tuned into all those games are not alums of those schools. You cannot say that you want HBCU awareness to expand and grow, but then say stupid stuff like, I'm trying to stop cussing y'all. I don't want you, you are wearing the gear. Yeah, okay, so what? Half of y'all wouldn't know about these schools if Bill Cosby hadn't had the gear on for everybody on the Cosby Show. Or if Martin wouldn't have had the gear on Martin, or if Will Smith wouldn't have had the gear on Fresh Prince, or so many other people. And that was the thing back then. It should be the thing now. Because instead of spending money with Mason Marcella, who don't give a damn about Black folks, I love to see some of these rappers rolling around with a Florida A&M or Alabama State or a Jackson State or a Cheney University shirt or sweater on. So you cannot say we want the exposure. You can't say, because if you're going to do that, if you don't want everybody to fully ingratiate themselves in the culture, then what you're going to have to do is say, well, fine, we don't want a media rights deal. We're just going to show up to all of our games. We're going to fund our universities. We're going to distance ourselves from the NCAA. You either want it or you don't, and you have to be prepared with what comes with it. I welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Don't start no foolishness, but I welcome everybody. I love my Black folks, but y'all really be in here like, oh yeah, sure, you can come in and you give them the grocery store talk. Don't look at nothing, don't touch nothing, you ain't getting nothing. Man, stop it, man. Stop it. Stop it. So shout out to Chad. Shout out to him. Like I said, I know his dog. I remember, I didn't see that particular show, but I remember a few shows ago when he was talking about his daughter being at Prairie View, and he got emotional. Man, that's the type of thing that you want to see. That's the type of person that he will, whether his child is there or not, Ocho Cinco will forever be impacted by HBCUs. And that is 100% what you want to see. That is 100% because we need it. We need people like Ocho Cinco. We do. So, shout out to Chad, man. Continue to do your thing, brother. You are appreciated. You are appreciated. And shout out to Prairie View. Let me say this about Prairie View, because I know they get a lot of flack about stuff. But and for reference, I've never visited the campus. I've spoken to recruiters when trying to get kids in school there. I know plenty of alums, and when I tell you that overall, and even when I was at the SWAC softball tournament last year or earlier this year, when I tell you, Prairie View folks, top to bottom, are some of the most welcoming, most pleasant, most, hey, your family kind of folks I've ever met. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a couple outliers here and there that's not like that. But in an overall sense, nearly every interaction that I've had with an alumnus, a faculty member, or any of the like from Prairie View, amazing experience. It's really only, I would say it's only 2 other schools that I've had that kind of experience with, just as like an outsider looking in, right? And that's Clark Atlanta and FAMU. Just amazing, just amazing people, seriously. So I thought, we should definitely shout that out. That ain't got nothing to do with the article or anything like that. But no, it is the truth. It's absolutely the truth. And y'all, and our last main topic, you know what? Hold on. Because this is gonna require some time. This is gonna require some time. Let me just say, don't tune away, because this article from the American Institute for Boys and Men, HBCUs at a crossroad, addressing the decline in Black male enrollment. It's going to take me a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. We're in the quad with Nick Eden. And I hate to end the main topics on a heavy note, but it's something we got to talk about, family. Tune in. It's in the quad with Nick Eden.
When I push, I feel good. When I push, I feel good. When I push. You better move. I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
From now on, it's all about us. Starting a family, buying a car, our first home.
They told you to open an account, then turned you away. They said, come back when you're ready. You said, we're ready now.
I know we're gonna make it.
Hope makes it happen. Thousands of your neighbors, many who never had a bank account before, improved their lives with Hope Credit Union. You can too. Brighter futures begin with hope.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave, the sales guy, is like, you're gonna love this. He shows me the best-in-class fuel economy and lets me know it's recommended by Consumer Reports. When Dave says, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000, like Rogue, with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
Amazon fall favorites are here. Save on fashion, home, beauty, and more. Shop Amazon fall favorites now.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Inner Quad with Nick Eden. I'm gonna get this production down. Y'all give me a minute. It's been a minute. This one hits home for me. I fit this demographic. We talked about the decline when I was an undergrad at Alabama State. And, I think it's important, and I think we got to address it in a few ways. Let me just go ahead and say ahead of time, I'm not going to read this full report. I am going to link it on Twitter, and I want you all to check it out because it is important. All right. So this comes to us from the American Institute for Boys and Men. I want to keep saying boys and men on that, but I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what I mean. HBCUs at a crossroad, addressing the decline in Black male enrollment. Now, this report actually came out back in August. It was used for an article that, quite frankly, when I read the article, I realized it was just a propaganda article. And so for me, it made more sense for me to just go to the source and report this, even though that article is trending right now. I'm not going to give them any pub on it. You can find it if you want. All right, so let me just give you the summary here. Black men account for only 26% of the students at HBCUs, down from 38% in 1976. In fact, there are fewer Black men in HBCUs enrolled at HBCUs today than 1976. HBCUs have long served as valuable institutions for Black students, offering a unique environment that fosters academic achievement, mental well-being, and economic mobility. More non-Black students offset these declines, but the reduced presence of Black men means fewer are benefiting from the supportive environments that HBCUs provide to help students succeed during and after college. Now, I'm going to give y'all just the key takeaways, and then we're gonna break this thing down. In fact, here we go. All right. Enrollment of Black students at Black male students at HBCUs is currently below 1976 levels and declining more rapidly than in other colleges and universities. The share of non-Black students at HBCUs is now about equal to the share of Black male students at 26% and 25%, respectively. HBCUs enroll a higher proportion of lower income students compared to non-HBCUs, and those students are nearly twice as likely to experience upwards economic mobility. This decline in Black male students is influenced by factors such as inadequate K-12 preparation, a lack of Black male teachers, and financial barriers both individually and institutionally. Addressing these issues through targeted interventions and expanding funding may reverse the declining trend to increase the opportunities for Black men at HBCU. Let's break this down, each one. Enrollment of Black male students at HBCUs is currently below 1976 levels and declining more rapidly than in other colleges and universities. This is what it's saying. So first off, there is a decline in college enrollment across the board. As a matter of fact, HBCUs is really the only place where it's trending upwards. But what this is pointing out is the fact that it's not that it's declining as sharply at PWIs. It's just declining sharply at HBCUs. There's been a social pressure. And for anybody asking me what I'm basing this off, the many students that I've worked with over the years, I can tell you right now, 8 years, and it's crazy how much this reflects my actual experience. 8 years of helping high school seniors get into college. There's two things that I can absolutely take away from that. 95% of it has been young girls. The young men, I probably had, last year I had 2 young men, which is more than I've had in one school year. 2 young men that I helped get into college. That's more in one school year than I've had the entire time I've done it. And I'll tell you from my experience, because again, they're going to the PWIs. They're going to the PWIs. Out of those 2, one of them, only one, he went to FAMU. He was determined to go to FAMU. And I appreciate that grit. He was absolutely determined. He was like, I am going to FAMU. I'm going to be a doctor, but I'm going to study my undergrad at FAMU. He was determined to do that. So shout out to that young brother. The other one, he ended up going to a PWI. Even though his mom is an HBCU graduate, HBCUs, what's crazy is the HBCUs were the first to accept him. They reached out to him the most. They were actively recruiting. And he's like, nah, I'm going over here. There's a social pressure as Black men to conform to white standards. I mean, don't get me wrong, it affects Black women as well. Absolutely does. There's no question about that. But that pressure, that social pressure to be in a boys' club is prevalent there. It really is. And particularly amongst our kids nowadays, where there is this push for multiculturalism over Black experience, but it's really just pushed on our kids. It's not pushed on, you tell a white kid that he needs to ignore his Irish history for multiculturalism, he and his whole family will tell you to go to hell, right? But there's a push for that conformity there. There's also this push from an athletic standpoint, and this is one thing I keep saying: y'all boys ain't going, all y'all boys ain't going to the league. I don't care what sport you play. You might have been great coming out of high school. You might have been a 2-3 star coming out of high school. That don't mean that you're gonna get any playing time. So you mean to tell me you're gonna go and you're gonna sit on the bench and ride the bench for 4 years at Auburn or Texas A&M or UT Austin? Or you're gonna do it for 2 years where your stock is down and you hit the transfer portal? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is on par. This is on par. Let's go to the next one. The share of non-Black students at HBCUs is now about equal to the share of Black male students at 26 and 25% respectively. That's ridiculous because it also represents itself in corporate America. Right now, that's looking like the same way it does in corporate America, where you see Black men are not necessarily in the executive suites. And what I'll give you a prime example. My current job. I am at my previous position in my current job. I was the only, but I'll take that back. It was 2 of us. There's only 2 Black men in senior leadership at our firm. 2. I ran the hiring department, and he was the vice president of partnerships. And he ended up leaving. He wasn't in the position more than a year. So, I mean, the reality is I was there for 3 years before I left. And in those 3 years, for only a little under a year, there were more than one of us. To the point I felt like a token. But there were a lot of non-Black folks. There were a lot of Black women, which I'm proud of that. I'm also proud of the fact that I was able to hire a bunch of HBCU grads there. But it was still one of those situations where when it came to that, once you got past it, you get past a certain point, I was the only one in the room. So that's reflective. That's crazy. That's really crazy. HBCUs enroll a higher proportion of lower income students compared to non-HBCUs, and these students are nearly twice as likely to experience upper economic mobility. And what's sad about it is, some of those young men who will take the chance and let me red shirt or let me walk onto this team and try to get here. And I don't want to regulate all the athletics because it's not all athletics, but that does play a big part. We're not all coming from middle class neighborhoods. And let's be clear about something. HBCUs only enroll 9 to 12% of Black people in this country. So we don't even have the mark. Georgia State graduates more Black students than any HBCU by the sheer size. So again, and I will say this on the parents, this particular part. Mothers and fathers, y'all have got to stop thinking that the grass is so daggone green just because it's on a white campus. And you actively discourage your sons from going. I say all the time, that white validation piece, that's expensive. That's expensive. And this last one, the decline in Black male students is influenced by factors such as inadequate K through 12 preparation and a lack of Black male teachers and financial barriers, both individually and institutionally. We talked about institutional financial barriers before, the individual financial barriers. We've talked about that before. At this point, I've dispelled the myth about HBCUs being more expensive than PWIs. It's I smacked, flipped, and rubbed that joint down. No diddy. That's not the case. So that's a non-factor. It just is. But Black male teachers, listen. When the first time I heard the statistic that what was it, that Black men are twice, more likely, 3 times as likely to go to college if they've had a Black male teacher at some point during K through 12. I 100% agree with that. And let me tell you why. Like, even when I talk to my friends now and I ask, how many of you had a Black male? Most of my people that I know did not have a Black male teacher. And most of the people I met outside of college, like once I got to college, like my K through 12 folks, we knew. My principal at Central Elementary in Gulfport, Mississippi, Dr. Terrell. Central Junior High, Horace Tate was my vice principal. Dennis James was my 7th grade math teacher. James McGee was my 8th grade math teacher. And we're not talking about coaches. I ain't even talking about Coach Goins and all the other folks. No, I'm talking about teachers. Actual teachers. By the time I got to high school, Mr. Johnson, my music teacher, I still see Mr. Johnson whenever I'm out at home. 7th grade. There was another young brother that came in, and I can't remember his name. I can remember his face because he was kind of in a transition period. But these people, I still talk with them. Hell, I was doing tutoring when the pandemic hit with Mr. James. We were doing tutoring for kids. He came up because he lived in the neighborhood. And a math genius. I'm sitting here trying to tutor. I'm like, James McGee is here. Miss McGee, I need you to sit down and do this. By the time I got to high school, I had 5 Black male teachers. And when I tell people that, they look at me like I am some type of anomaly. And I don't understand it. But, it's kind of par for the course. So I think that piece is very, very important, especially when you consider somewhere like Jackson State, which is the #1 producer of Black male teachers in the nation. And yet, Black male teachers are only 2% of the teaching population. Some got to change. Somebody need to put a program together. We got almost 40 million Americans with some college, no credentials. No associates, no bachelors, nothing. They got plenty of work experience. Get them back into these schools. Stop waiting on the PWIs to put these programs together. You can put these programs together. Come out of me. I'll show you how. One of the main reasons I am actually going to go and get my doctorate. But this is all serious, y'all. So look, I know I got real serious, and I know we're going way over on that part. I'm going to link this article, and then I bled so much into the second part of the show. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into the fam topics. It's in the quad with Nick Eden.
When I push, I feel good. When I push, I feel good. When I push. You better move. I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
For now on, it's all about us. starting a family, buying a car, our first home.
They told you to open an account, then turned you away. They said, come back when you're ready. You said, we're ready now.
I know we're going to make it.
Hope makes it happen. Thousands of your neighbors, many who never had a bank account before, improved their lives with Hope Credit Union. You can too. Brighter futures begin with hope.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave, the sales guy, is like, you're gonna love this. He shows me the best-in-class fuel economy and lets me know it's recommended by Consumer Reports. When Dave says, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000, like Rogue with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
Amazon fall favorites are here. Save on fashion, home, beauty, and more. Shop Amazon fall favorites now.
All right, y'all. So I have taken y'all down a serious road today. Let's get into some of these fam topics. This is the part of the show, then it's a condensed version because I spent a whole bunch of time on many topics. This is the part of the show where your questions and comments, you, the viewer, submit these questions and comments. And if you want to get yours on fam topics, it's real simple. Head on over to my socials, click the link tree in the bio. Having a moment here, y'all. Click the link tree in the bio and submit your questions. If it's appropriate, we'll read it. If it's not, you already know what it is. But for those who do want to submit it, bam! All you gotta do is click the link. So y'all, let's get to it. Me and Uncle Samson here, we're gonna talk about these fam topics. All right. This is what I knew. I knew this was some BS. You don't seem to talk about politics a lot on your show. Don't you think it's important? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you are not a Facebook friend, nor do you follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty sure you are probably somebody who just came across the show, which I appreciate you anyway. But, sir, ma'am, non-gender conforming individual, not only do I talk about politics extensively, I also work full-time in politics. I am quite literally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as we speak, working the presidential election, trying to flip this state. This is my 7th presidential cycle. I've done this work professionally for 25 years. All right. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You should follow me at Nick Eden on Twitter, and you'll see more. Hi, Nick. I would love to hear your opinion on if there is a limit to trash talking among rival HBCU schools. I think I have two. There's another question similar to this. What type of talk is off limits, and what is fair game, especially if one school is more prestigious than the one it's rival to? Okay, that last sentence, that should be off limits. Listen, when you're talking trash talk, maybe it's just me. I can't speak for anybody else. I can't. For me, the institution is off limits. We can talk. I mean, you can make jokes, sure, but sometimes y'all get a little low. Like, okay, prime example. Our natural rivals, Alabama A&M and Tuskegee. That just is what it is. Alabama A&M, yeah, I'll say stuff like, oh, they're goat herders and things like that. But it's quite literally an agricultural and mechanical school. You know, that just is what it is. I'm not talking down about them. But again, I can talk trash about football all day. I can talk trash about basketball, baseball, all schools, all day. For me, it's the institution. That's where it gets a little crazy. And scandals around the institution, too. But, you know, for some people, that's not the case. But I mean, again, I think it's your personal threshold. I think we all made some jokes, and I know I might sound completely hypocritical about this. We all made some jokes with the FAMU 237 thing and everything. But, you know, at the end of the day, the alums of FAMU were equally as outraged and they demanded accountability, right? Now, where I think it gets too low, I hate when people do things like talk about the city conditions in Jackson, Mississippi, and relate that to the school itself. Jackson State is an excellent institution, right? What goes on in the city is not a reflection of the school. Because if that were the case, boy, let's not forget, most of us are in southern states, and it's a whole bunch that could be talked about the area surrounding our schools. If one is more prestigious than the other, I feel like this is a Howard Morgan State thing. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I do think that, I don't know, man. It's because I don't know what school you're talking about. I can't give clear examples. But for me, I don't like when you start ragging on the quality of education from the institution or the quality of alums or anything like that. I think that's where you get a little too far. All right. Since everybody's chiming in, what's your HBCU Mount Rushmore? My HBCU Mount Rushmore is, man, that's, I would put Dr. Martin Luther King, Morehouse College. I would put Booker T. Washington, Hampton University, Hampton Institute. Y'all gonna hate it. Some of y'all gonna hate it. But we're talking about groundbreaking and first. I will most definitely put Kamala Harris. Definitely, like without question. And then Howard University. And then I would round it out. And my goodness, I just realized I am off my rocker with my HBCU knowledge. I would put, I think because of how transformative, okay, I was about to put somebody else. I was about to put somebody else. But I think it's simply for how transformative he was. I'd have to put Thurgood Marshall. Obviously, Lincoln University and Howard. I was going to put Maynard Jackson, first Black mayor of Atlanta, because of what, and Morehouse, because of what he did. It was transformative, not only for Atlanta, it set the tone for other Black cities to thrive. So that's what I was going to do. But yeah, that's what I got. Haven't heard a lot of talk about Florida Memorial lately. Thoughts on the program? It's kind of difficult as you get into the season. Early on in the season, Florida Memorial was playing a few HBCUs, and as they've gotten more into their conference play, it's gotten down. But there needs to be more coverage, period. I will say, if you would like to, head on over. If you're already in the app, download the HBCU Plus app. Florida Memorial has a channel right here on the app. They have amazing content about the band, about the football team. The institution itself is amazing. I had the pleasure when I was in Miami for the Orange Blossom Classic of meeting Coach Rome, football coach. I met the women's basketball coach. I met the baseball coach. A lot of folks from the staff. Florida Memorial. I got nothing but great things to say about the school. And I'm actually going to be, if we can get this one announcement that's supposed to come out a couple of weeks ago, I'm actually looking forward to getting back to Miami pretty soon so that I can go and visit the campus and get some footage of things. All right. And our last fam topic. When are we going to stop? Okay. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, it's one that sounds just like it. When are we going to stop going low with the school trash talk? Yeah. Listen, again, talking about the water crisis in Jackson is ridiculous. And FAMU, y'all are the main culprits on that. I'm sorry, you are. Something else to talk about. Hell, talk about Dion, but don't talk about the water prices. That's so anti-Black. The Jackson State, y'all the main culprits bringing up Robert Champion. And that to me is ridiculous. Because imagine if you get online and you search your son's name and it's the subject of some trash talk between schools. That's crazy to me. Y'all got to stop that crap. Y'all really do. Tuskegee, let me go ahead and say this. I've been to y'all Scholars Day. My daughter attends Tuskegee. Y'all couldn't get 5 minutes into y'all Scholars Day without talking about Alabama State. Now, if you're supposed to be as big, as bad, as great as you are, should not matter, right? It shouldn't matter at all. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna make my final thoughts real quick, and we'll take our last commercial break before we're out. Please be careful. Have fun this week. Donate to an HBCU today, okay? And I will see you all same time, same place. Take care.
Technology lets you monitor your pet when you're not at home. But to monitor threats to your hybrid workforce wherever they are, you need more than technology. You need CDW, who gets to know your business and can design and deploy custom solutions with pre-configured HP notebooks with HP Wolf Security. AI-enabled threat detection and remote management protect your endpoints 24/7, giving your defenses some real teeth.
Bummer.
HP makes always-on remote security possible. CDW makes it powerful.
Whether you call her Granny, Nana, my dear, she knows a treat makes any meal special. So come to McDonald's and treat yourself to the Grandma McFlurry today. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit. Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio. That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
Amazon fall favorites are here. Save on fashion, home, beauty, and more. Shop Amazon fall favorites now.
When I push, I feel good. When I push, I feel good. When I push. You better move. I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good.